Greetings. I'm Adam Davis of Truman State University, and I welcome you to this presentation for the 2020 meeting of the Missouri Folklore Society. I'm going to be presenting my translation of a minor Serbian epic, Banović Strahina. I dedicate this reading to my good friend, Lee Edgar Tyler, who was intending to present his own translations of traditional Serbian women's songs at this meeting, and unfortunately passed away quite suddenly 2 weeks ago. This was a great shock and a great sadness to all of us, and Ed, you will be missed very much. I would invite you to look up on YouTube a 7-minute performance by Nikola Mojsilovic, accompanying himself on the traditional instrument for Serbian epic, the guzle, a sound that you are probably going to find strange, very unfamiliar, but it is the traditional music to which these songs are performed. The background of the poem, the narrative background, can be found in a very good Wikipedia article, Strahinic Ban, and as you click on links from the article on that poem, you will find an explanation of the events of the Battle of Kosovo, which has the same place in the Serbian imagination that the Trojan War has for ancient Greek. Without further introduction, then, I'm going to read you a translation of this poem, which was published in a certain form as part of a short story some years ago. Strahinic Ban. Now there was a man. In Little Banjiska he was the ban. In Little Banjiska by Kosovo. That was the golden time, the last of golden times, and in that golden time, a falcon, no falcon like that falcon, Strahinic Ban. On a morning, the ban rose early, called his servants, young and old, and lordly called for horse and saddle, his embroidered cloth and cloth of gold, gold red as blood and red as the setting sun. I go, he said, to see my lover's people, the people of my wife in Kruševac, the sun-washed city. My father-in-law, Jug Bogdan the Old, and his sons, the Jugovici, those battle falcons 9, are waiting for me, wishing for me. And off he rode, the mighty band, to Kruševac, the city white by morning light, and came by known and unknown ways to where they waited, Jug Bogdan, the elder hero, beside the Jugovici, heroes 9 who fought, as old songs say, and fed the dusky birds of battle in the dust of Kosovo. And all these lords of Kruševac, in what was yet the golden time, another day or month, embraced their brother, Ban of Banjiska, and made their noble speeches, placed him at the head, beside their elder, Jug Bogdan the Old. There all 9 wives of all 9 worthies poured the icy wine for Strahinic Ban. And long he stayed to eat the dainties, to sip the wine and parry speeches with his brothers. From far and wide the people came, great and little, to beg their ruler, Jug Bogdan, that Strahinic Ban might be beside them at their boards too, and each he performed. And so in joy the band delayed and drank the wine from his 9-liter cup. But ever comes misfortune. On a morning, still in the cool of the day, comes a horseman riding post with news from Banjiska, the little city, news from the aged mother of the ban. Where are you lingering, Ban Strahinic? My son the ban, evil come upon you. May you choke on the wine of Kruševac, you who sit in company, while the Turks of Yedrin Sultan take the land, the level fields of Kosovo and Banjiska, the little city, the rivers east and west, the Labwater and Sitnica, and of all the Turkish armies none is worse than that of Vlach Alia, renegade and traitor to his own sultan. He left the Sultan, led his force along the lower road, the left, that leads to Banyiska, the little city. Your servants he put to flight, or to the sword, or to the yoke, and brought your aged mother into grief, and in the fields of Kosovo he took your love. And there by night he kisses her beneath his tent. Your walls are broken and your courts are void. Fields run rank, and I among the ashes wail, while you sit soaking wine in Krushevats. The elder hero, Yug Bogdan, he sees his son-in-law, and how his visage darkens, how he stalks the sunlit courts. What is it, son-in-law, that tears you? Did a son of mine insult you? Did his wife not serve you to your pleasure? Is there fault among the Yugovici? Say, and you will see what sort of man is Yug Bogdan. No, my father, Yug Bogdan. I am at peace in Krushevats and with the Yugovici and with their wives. But read the evil news from little Banyiska. And evil words indeed he reads, and flashes forth like living fire. Whereupon Strahinic Ban puts forth his plea. If you wish me well when I am dead, then do me good today. Lend me your sons, the 9, the Yugovici, and with them I will seek the traitor Vlach Aliyah. I will make your children janissaries, dress them in the Turkish style, and lead them to regain their sister, for she's my love, your daughter, and shame to all until she's free. When Yug Bogdan the old heard this, he flared like living fire. My son, you ask me for my sons, to make them die a stupid death in Kosovo fields? I will not have them follow, not if I should never see my daughter again. This misery is foolish. If she's known a single night beneath a Turkish tent, she can never be dear to you again. Take another daughter, stay, and drink the wine of Krushevats, but never, never will I grant you this. But the Ban would hear no more, and calling neither groom nor servant, saddled up his battle horse as black as raven's wing, and called his hound, his Karaman, dearer to him than raven horse. He looked upon the Yugovici, heroes 9, 9 heroes who stared only upon the earth, even his wife's sister's man, even Nemanjic. Nemanjic looked only on the earth. He crossed the flat of Krushevats alone, his hound, his Karaman, dancing round the battle horse, along the sprawling levels over mountains, and at length descending into Kosovo. Into the Turkish hordes he moves along the Kosovo levels. He searches the 4 winds, seeking Vlach Aliyah the strong. He seeks him there beside the Sitnica water, and there, a miracle beneath his feet, a tent that weighed upon the earth, a lance stuck alone in the earth, a horse tied to the lance to paw the earth. The Ban adjusted all his Turkish trappings. Thinking in his mind that this must be the tent of Vlach Aliyah, renegade and traitor to the Sultan. Now the hero lowers the lance from his shoulder. Now he pushes aside the door of the tent. Now he sees who sits inside, but no, it's not the traitor Vlach Aliyah. It's just a dervish, old and snowy bearded to the waist, and no one with him. All alone he drinks his wine from the jug, a drunkard, wretched dervish, bloody in the eyes. And when Strahinic Ban beheld him, he greeted him with Turkish salam, whereat the drunken dervish laughed and answered to the air, "A health I drink, your health, Strahinic Ban, who comes to die a stupid death in Kosovo. I know you by your black mustaches, your raven horse, and Karaman, the hound you love above your battle horse." The dervish drank again and laughed and sang, "Oh, I have been in prison in my day. Once in Sukhara on the mountain, there the men of Strahinic Ban arrested me and left me 7 winters in your dungeon. 7, 8, and then a night, and in the 10th, you softened. had me out by Rade the jailer, saying, "My slave, my snake, my rotten Turk, why do you fester in my dungeons? Can't you bring me ransom, honest gold, as every captured hero should?" And I replied, "Oh yes, my Ban, I've treasure, lands in Fife, but you will never trust me, never set me free to go to my own place, the home, where I have honest gold." And yet you did. You set me free on nothing, nothing but my word to travel home, a long journey by known ways and unknown. But when I reached the evil place, I found no home but the home of weeds. A plague had taken all that was sweet and all that was mine. The walls were broken, the courts were void, and no child played on the hearth from which an elder sapling grew. So there was nothing, nothing but to give myself to the Sultan for a horse and a lance. He made me janissary, sent me out to be his hero in the fight. It is an honest man who thinks all others honest. Now you come to take your debt, but I have not a dinar. Only death will pay you here at Kosovo. Brother in God, old dervish, my brother in honor, here I make a present of what you owe me. I am not seeking money in Kosovo, but the life of Vlachalia, of him who kisses my wife beneath his tent. So tell me, brother in God, old dervish, brother in honor, where I can find my enemy, and I will call you brother once again. O falcon, honest Strahinic Ban, my faith to you will be a rock. If you should draw your sword and slaughter half the army, even then, I never will betray you to the Turk. I never will break the faith you lent, nor trample the bread you gave me in the dirt. In prison, there was wine enough and bread, and often freedom to walk in the sun. I never paid you nor betrayed you, and neither will I do so now. I did not keep a faith I could not keep, when you trusted me and let me walk. Now the leader of Vlachalia spreads his tents on Golech, lofty mountain. But hear me, Ban, and ride away. You'll die a stupid death on Golech. Only death awaits on Golech. You will meet the Turk in the high place, and you will trust your stiff sword arm and the wicked point of your lance. But he will seize you in his two arms. He will crack your two arms and put out both your eyes alive. But the Ban strikes out. He has heard enough. He leaves his brother Turk to drink and think on ruined home and fields. The Ban strikes out and soon is past the Sitnica water, riding beneath Golech. But here is mighty Vlachalia, strong within his tent, where all the night he's loved the love of Strahinic Ban, and loved her much, and loved her well. Till now he sleeps, his head upon her lap. She lifts the door of the Turkish tent and sees the army row on row across the flats of Kosovo. Each house and horse and hero, and at last, by luck, bad luck, she sees a certain one, a certain horse and hero, down the mountain, riding in and trailing dust. And when she saw him, when she saw this horse and hero, then she slapped her man awake, Vlachalia strong. Vlachali, awake, awake! Now lift or lose your head. Strahinic Ban is coming. Strahinic Ban will seize us. Crack your arms and put out both my eyes. But Vlachalia laughed aloud. He laughed at Strahinic's love. That little Christian frightens you? Then you will see him when I take you home. In every corner, behind the doors, by night, you'll hear the step of Strahinic Ban. This is only some officious captain sent by Sultan Yedrin to retrieve his renegade. He fears my power, fears that I may strike where and what I please, and scatter all his armies. Only watch me drop him in the dust, this wretched errand boy. You idiot! It is my master, Strahinic Ban. I know his black mustaches. I know his raven horse and Karaman, the hound he loves above his battle horse. At this the Turk began to leap about, to search for belt and sword and lance. But here at once is Strahinic Ban. He gives no proper greeting, no salam, but spoke a filthy speech for filthy men. You bastard, traitor to the Sultan, out! Whose holdings have you wasted? Whose servants have you murdered? And whose lover are you loving in your tent? But neither stood for answer. In a step, the Turk is at his horse and on it. Before the tent, they smash their lances, crack their maces, then fall upon the ground to fight with swords until these shatter too. Now they grapple in the dust and take each other by the throat. No weapons left but hands. And as the sun grew hot in thirst and pain, the band called out through bloody foam, My love, what are you waiting for? Take up one piece of sword and strike at me or at the Turk. Consider wife, which pleases you. Whereat the Turk cried wretchedly, Vlach Ali the strong, Do not kill me, but strike the band, the one you'll never please again at sunrise or at dusk, since you have been with me by night. But you will please me now and always. Home in Yedrin, I will feed you cherries and order 30 serving maids to hold your skirts and serve you honey, sugar in vessels of gold, if only you will strike. And so she struck. She found a bit of sword and wrapped it in a scrap of needlework to spare her tender hand. She dodged on either side as these went whirling, life for life in clouds of dust. She struck her husband, Strahinic Ban. The blood ran in the hero's eyes, and blind and fearing stupid death, he called his hound his Karaman, hound better loved than battle horse. And swift he came and took the tender hand. Together dog and woman fought and tumbled down the slope. The band had reached to such a rage he needed no weapon, but taking the Turk by teeth and jaws, he tore his head in two and set his teeth into his throat, as wolf sets tooth in lamb, and left him spilling life. The hero would not let her run, but pulling her behind him, rides away, turning away and turning away, until he comes to Krushevats, to his wife's people. And when Bogdan sees the well-loved face, its wounds and sores, he wants to know what matter man it is that can do such as this to Strahinic Ban. And then the band flared out like living fire. No man did this to me, O Bogdan, my hero, my father-in-law. My own true love has wounded me and given help to him who sought my life and love. Then Bogdan flared out like living fire. Draw your daggers, Yugovici 9, and hack this bitch apart to feed the dogs. And they, with daggers drawn, were set to fling themselves upon her, but the ban forbade, and spoke a speech before the Yugovici and their elder Bogdan. Since you are so great heroes, so great men, where were your swords when I had greatest needs? Why were you not at Kosovo when I was all alone? I will not let you kiss your sister. No, I can kill women with no one's help. Your house is ruined. All is fading. The golden days are done. The walls will break, the chimney fall, in a day or two, a month, a year. And though I have no one to drink the cold wine with me, yet I have spared the thing I loved. Strahinic Ban, now there was a man. In Little Banyiska, he was the ban. And in those golden days and since, never was there a falcon like that falcon, Strahinic Ban. Thanks so much for sitting in with us. Thanks so much for listening. If you've got any questions or comments, you can email me at adavis@truman.edu. Thanks so much and enjoy the rest of the program at the Missouri Folklore Society.